Hello, my name is Kenneth Blackburn, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing three West Virginia composers and artists. The first person I chose was William Harrison Withers Jr., and he was also known as Bill Withers. He was born on July 4th, 1938 in Slab Fork, West Virginia. He was an R&B and soul American singer and songwriter. I chose the song Ain't No Sunshine because it is one of my wife's favorites. The song was released as a single in 1971 by Sussex Records, and also on the track Just As I Am, which released in 1971 as well. Withers wrote this song after watching a movie called Days of Wine and Roses, which released in 1962. In reference to the characters, he said, "They were both alcoholics who were alternatively weak and strong. It's like going back for seconds on rat poison. Sometimes you miss things that weren't particularly good for you. It's just something that crossed my mind from watching that movie." In 1972, Withers performed Ain't No Sunshine on the Old Grey Whistle Test, which was a British television show. One thing I didn't like about the song was that Withers sings the line, "I know," 26 times. I found out this was because he had forgot to write an additional verse and was told to leave it as it was. What I like about this song is that to me it means that when one's love or relationship isn't stable, or that if you're in a strong relationship, losing your other half would seem unbearable. The second person I chose was George Crumb. He was born on October 24th, 1929 in Charleston, West Virginia. He was an American avant-garde contemporary classical music composer. A bit about his background: his compositions were known for pushing limits by a frequent use of extended techniques. The unusual timbres or tone quality, he employed would evoke a surrealist atmosphere which portrayed emotions of considerable intensity with a vast and sometimes haunting soundscape. The piece I chose, which can be filed under chamber music, is titled Black Angels. It was composed in 1970, published in 1971, and has 13 movements and is notable for its unconventional instrumentation. The piece was composed during the Vietnam War, and that is what it's based on. The main reason I picked this piece is because of its background. The opening to this piece is described as being symbolic of the attack helicopters used predominantly during the Vietnam War as a principal instrument of warfare. Electric insects was the preferred euphemism Crumb used to describe these helicopters. Crumb indicated that the composition was commissioned by the University of Michigan and first performed by the Stanley Quartet. He also stated there are several allusions to tonal music in Black Angels. A quotation from Schubert's Death and the Maiden Quartet, an original sarabanda which is stylistically synthetic, the sustained B major tonality of God music, and several references to the Latin sequence Dies Irae, which translates to Day of Wrath. I'm sure I said that wrong, so I'm sorry. What I enjoyed about this piece is that you can feel or understand the sheer terror and intensity that war brings, and just fear in general. When I was listening to this piece around the 5-minute mark, my wife asked if I was watching like a scary movie because she doesn't like scary movies. Around the 6-minute mark, the piece turned almost peaceful, and I'm guessing that's probably how those soldiers felt before the chaos would start all over again. What I didn't like or understand really were the bits of vocal shouting throughout the piece, but I understand that's probably one of the elements to make the piece unique. The third person I chose is Donald Matthew Redman, commonly known as Don Redman. He was born on July 29th, 1900 in Piedmont, West Virginia, however you want to say it. He was an American jazz and swing musician, arranger, bandleader, and composer. He also played the saxophone and the clarinet. Redman joined the Fletcher Henderson Orchestra in 1923, where he mostly played the clarinet and the saxophone before starting writing arrangements. A trademark of his arrangements was to have the band play harmony under written solos. He played brass and reed sections off each other in a call response pattern, having one section punctuate the figures of another and move the melody around different orchestral sections and soloists. Because of his use of this technique, it formed the basis of much bigger jazz writing in the following decades. In 1931, Redman formed his own band, then signed with Brunswick Records and undertook a series of radio broadcasts. Redman and his orchestra also provided music for the animated short I Heard, which was part of the Betty Boop series. The music piece I chose is titled Doin' What I Please, and Redman does provide the vocals in this song. I enjoyed this song because the melody is joyful, and the lyrics flow well with it. Listening to this piece is really what sells me on what swing music is and how it really makes you want to dance. What I didn't like is that it was short, so it ended very quickly. The only background information I could find is that the song was more than likely performed and recorded in a Brunswick studio in New York City on October 6, 1932. So I apologize for not being able to find out more on that. Something I believe that is worth mentioning is that 63 years after Redman's death, he was named a member of the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame on May 6, 2009. I chose these three different artists and composers because of how diverse their music is and to extend my genre preferences, and also because I enjoyed learning the background of people here close to home. Thank you for listening and have a great day.